At 12:45 p.m. on August 19, 2017, the body of a woman is found partially submerged in water in Derrydowns Park, located in the Jane and Finch community of Toronto. The woman who found her, a local resident who frequents the area, immediately called 911. She was directed to pull the body from the water and attempt CPR, but she stated she didn't have the courage to do so. When paramedics arrived, no life-saving measures could help. The victim was pronounced dead. At the time, police only released to the public that she was a black female, about 30 years old, wearing camouflage leggings, a multicolored shirt, running shoes, and a light green or turquoise baseball hat, and her death was suspicious. The victim's phone was found in the water not far from her body, along with her shoe and hat. Tire tracks were also observed showing where a car sped off and hit a curb on the way out of the park. But who was this woman? Who killed her? Was she killed at the park or just dumped there? Was this a random killing, or were the victim and the killer known to each other? By the next day, a name had been released. The body in the park was 31-year-old Virgil Jack. The last time she was seen alive was around 2:30 p.m. the day before she was found. An autopsy revealed that she died of multiple penetrating wounds, 159 to be exact. There were 126 stab wounds, 30 incision wounds, and 3 defensive wounds. At the time, police asked witnesses to come forward with information they might have. Who was Virgil Jack? Virgil Jack was the fourth of 9 children. She was originally from the Caribbean country of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a graduate of St. Joseph Convent High School. Friends and family described her as a nice, pleasant person who always spoke her mind. She loved her family and friends and loved to laugh. She migrated to Toronto in the mid-90s, and in 2016, she had traveled back to St. Vincent and got married. She was in the process of applying for her husband to join her in Canada. She had a full-time job and lived with her sister and niece not far from where her body was found. No suspects were named until 5 months later on January 11, 2018, when 24-year-old Nicholas Johnson was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Not much is known about Nicholas. The only information I could find was that he was born in Jamaica and migrated to Canada when he was 14. Details about motive or the relationship between the two weren't released. All of that changed when Nicholas went on trial November 14, 2019. During the trial, it was revealed that Virgil and Nicholas were co-workers who eventually turned lovers, despite both of them being in relationships. Nicholas' living girlfriend Elizabeth also worked at the same company. In late July of 2017, when Elizabeth traveled back to Ghana to visit family, is when the relationship between Virgil and Nicholas began. Elizabeth was 3 months pregnant at the time. Upon her return to work, other co-workers began telling her that Nicholas was having an affair with a woman who worked at the same company. She only knew the other woman's name as Jill. This woman, known as Jill, who was actually Virgil, approached Elizabeth in the lunchroom, denying the rumors, but she later on sent a text admitting the affair, and that she was pregnant with Nicholas's baby. She only admitted this because Nicholas had been disrespectful to her. Also during the trial, a friend of Virgil testified that 3 days before she was killed, Virgil revealed to her that she had become attached to a man at work and asked for a sample of the friend's urine. The friend was pregnant, so she could fake a pregnancy test. She refused. 2 days before her death, a co-worker of both Virgil and Nicholas found Virgil in the work washroom holding a positive pregnancy test. She revealed to the co-worker that she had begun seeing Nicholas when his girlfriend was on vacation and she was pregnant with his baby. Other details that came out during the trial was that within days of having sex with Johnson while his spouse was away, Virgil falsely claimed she was pregnant. What followed was a barrage of angry texts and ruses as Virgil sought to destroy Nicholas's relationship with his spouse, who really was pregnant. One of those ruses was sending a video of herself breastfeeding a baby who turned out to be her sister's. Johnson had pled not guilty and maintained his innocence, but after the testimony of his ex, his co-worker, the forensic findings of his car, which revealed scraping on the underside with transferred material from the curb that was hit on the way out of the park, there was also a positive match to a rubbish stopper that was found in the parking lot. His lawyer also admitted these facts. There were also a series of WhatsApp messages, with the last one being from Nicholas to Virgil, telling her not to tell her sister that the two were together. There's also the surveillance video of Virgil leaving her apartment at around the same time as the text messages. Nicholas also admitted that he was at the park with Virgil. Virgil's dad attended the trial in support of his daughter. Her mother remained in St. Vincent. There was never any mention of Nicholas's family in the courtroom. Maybe they were there, but never identified. Nicholas was found guilty of second-degree murder. Before his sentencing, he underwent a psychology assessment where he was diagnosed with an intellectual disability of mild to moderate severity, and is therefore considered a vulnerable person who is gullible and can be easily taken advantage of. He also lacks coping skills. He was sentenced to life in prison with the eligibility of parole after 12 years. I followed this story from the first time it happened to the end of the trial, mainly because it was talked about a lot in the Vincentian community, which I'm a part of. I also wanted to know who could have committed such a heinous crime. This entire story, before and after the murder, impacted a lot of lives. The most innocent victim being the daughter of Nicholas Johnson, who was born in March 2018. She will most likely never know her father. Virgil has lost her life. Virgil's younger sister, who she was living with, returned to St. Vincent after the murder and suffers from PTSD. Nicholas will spend an undetermined number of years before being released. Even though he can apply for parole after 12 years, it's not guaranteed it will be granted.
And that's all I have on the story. I will keep following up on Nicholas Johnson because there has been recent events where he might be filing an appeal. I'm not 100% sure on that, but as soon as I get an update, I will do another video or post in my community tab. I would also like to say keep the husband of Virgil Jack and her entire family, her mother and father, her siblings, in your thoughts. In recent years, one of her brothers recently was sentenced to a lengthy jail sentence, which I will speak about in another video. And recently this year, another one of her brothers was found dead on the side of the road in St. Vincent with, right now it's undetermined if that was natural causes or if it was a homicide. But keep the family in your thoughts, and just in case they were to come across this video, they are still grieving despite the circumstances of who did what wrong, or who should have done this and all that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video.